we counted down to one? I missed the one. Did we?
Welcome.
Did we?
Sisters with
Welcome.
Opinions.
Thank you all for joining in. As I always say every week, we sisters with opinions, and we want to feed your soul with good adult conversations, which might help or heal somebody. I always feel like if we heal one person, that's good for me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I heal myself when we on here. So, hold on one second. Yeah, the connection bad, so we can't even do it here. We have a special guest tonight. Real special. God know how to have a sense of humor and to do his job. I was talking to him one night on one of my lives on TikTok, and he was telling me how he met someone, which is someone dear to me, and how he wanted to connect with this person. And God sent me to reconnect them because the way he was trying to connect, it didn't work out. So we have a special guest tonight, and y'all know I'm big on entrepreneurs. I say this every week. I wish I had that courage. Well, I do have that courage, but I wish I had just stepped out on faith like everybody else do. Because being an entrepreneur, it means like God gave you this gift, and you're going to use this gift. Like, I'm not going to wake up when somebody else tell me to wake up. I'm not going to take a lunch when somebody else take. If I want to take off, I'm going to take off. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pursue my gift and my dream. And that's what he's doing. I did research on him, but he bought his resume for us. I'm gonna do my research first. He is entrepreneur, like I said. He's the CEO of his own growing global music group.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I think is amazing, y'all. For the people that know me, I love music. I can't live without music. I grew up on. I was born into music. My daddy thought he was one of the Temptations, and still do. So, and I had to be one of the Supremes. I had to be all of them. So, my brother is. We know who he is, David Ruffin. So, and he's also the CEO of his own clothing brand. He has an organization for the youth. He's doing big things, you all. And he's from the D.
What up, dude?
So that's big
Right?
for us.
What up,
right,
though?
exactly. So he bought his resume. So I'm going to read over it and I'm going to hire him because it's so impressive.
Shout out to my mama and my dad and my little sister in D.C. for the professionalism. So it just rubbed off.
That's it. We want to welcome John Greasy. He probably can give y'all more of a background history than I can because he living it. So let's go.
Yeah, I mean, hometown Detroit City, born and raised, Hustle Hospital. Only the real ones know about Hustle.
It was more than Hustle
Right.
Hospital.
Don't get me started. It's on the black and white birth certificate, not the color.
Absolutely. I hear that.
7 Mile Van Dyke, East Side for sure.
East Side, I don't know, y'all.
But-
we may have a little. Not tonight.
Let
We gotta
me
go do
show
it,
you how I
'cause I'm
got
from
work.
the West Side.
Let me show you how I got work though. So 7 Mile East Side Van Dyke. So
Okay.
I played all my sports on East Side. Got all my trophies and everything. Whoop, 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 all the sports, baseball, football, all that. So high school come around. My mama, she like, I don't want you to go to Persian. I was MVP.
I ain't want you to go to Persian either.
I was MVP in basketball at Farwell, right up the street. So coach at Persian was like, man, you ain't got to try. You're already on the team. You got to put your work on the East Side. You already got scoring titles. We ain't got to try out.
Okay.
I go to my mom. I say, Mom, I'm going to Persian. They about to win the PSL and everything. I'm good. She's like, no, you not. I said, what you mean? She said, Northwestern. I said, Northwestern. On the west side?
On the west side?
West Side.
They sent something in the mail about some science and magnet program. I think it better you go over there. I said, I got to catch 2 buses to get there.
Ooh.
So I go walk to Persian. I said, I understand that, but that's what I want. That's where I want you to go. So my dad came in and he just, happy wife, happy life. So he said, son, I just need you to do this for me. I said, well, do what?
What do you want you to
I
do?
need to take one for the team for me. I need you
Go to
to
Northwest.
go to Northwestern for me.
Yeah, to go to
I
Northwest.
said, Dad, you serious, man? He said, I'm serious, man. For me. I said, for you? What about me?
He's trying to save the house.
Yeah.
So, right. So I ended up going Northwestern. I had to try out for the team, made the team. But the first game was at Persian. And they smashed Northwestern.
They did.
Oh, they smashed us. And
They
the coach
did.
walked up to me and said, Washington, what happened? I said, my mama. He said,
You say your mom. How you gonna blame it on your mom?
so this how I got work, though.
Okay.
Go to Northwestern, do all that, graduate. Coach Jackson at Northwestern, he was connected big time in all the colleges and stuff like that. So he put a word in for me down in North Carolina, Charlotte, to play ball down there. And so my mama main thing was, she was like, I didn't want you to go to a school where, stuff is going on, you get in trouble and all this. I wanted you to be around people that, people was doing stuff. Like your parents
Right.
were active, doctors and all that
Absolutely.
stuff. That was her vision as a parent. So I found out about that later. So once I got graduated from Northwestern, Coach Jackson had a situation for me down there in North Carolina, Charlotte. So I went down there, met the coach. We did the whole college tour and everything. He shook my hand, in the court, like, man, welcome to the 49ers down here in Charlotte. That's the ACC, so that's Duke, that's North Carolina, all that. I'm like, bet. So my mama there, my sister there, and my dad there. As soon as we got done, on the way back home, my mama started crying.
Did she now?
I don't want you to go that far away to school. I said, Mom, why you ain't say that when I shook his hand?
Right, exactly.
You done sealed it. You done
So
sealed it.
long
with the
story short, I was like, my mom was like, I think you should be, it'd be better for you to go to school in Michigan. So only 2 schools that had my program, I was going to be a veterinarian. So the only school that had my program was Michigan State, which that's another conversation.
Okay.
And Fair State, which is Division II. But I'm like, Mom, she was like, just weigh it out. And so a lot of my friends was going to Fairs. So I was like, man, it's Division II. So I ended up going to Fairs, but when I got to Fairs, they stopped the programs. I was mad. So I ended up going to computer information systems and a minor in communications. So did that, and then that's when but my mom was right. She was looking for the future. She was like, everybody you're gonna meet there, you're gonna meet somebody doing something similar to what you're doing. And that's how I met everybody. To everything I'm repping today, I met all of them at Fair State. So shout out to my mama.
Everything you
I
repping.
met all my business partners and everybody.
Wow.
And I still do business with my friends from Fair State and Northwestern to this day.
That's awesome.
That's how God
That
works.
was my core, my root support starting off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still got friends from elementary too, so it's all good.
That's it.
Shout out to my mama, you was right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hope she watching.
Yeah, she listening.
So everything you repping, tell us about it.
So right now, as far as musically, Going Globe Music Group, that's my label. So I started that in 2008. But I've been doing music since really professionally since 1996. Met my partner Marlon at Fair State, and we also do Domeline together. So, but if I wouldn't have went to Fair, she wouldn't even be saying this right now. You probably wouldn't be talking right now. So, Mom, she's
How
right.
we can?
No.
That's some Domeline.
So, yeah, it's
The
like,
name is everything.
yeah. So what happened?
Where the name come
Yeah, so
from?
Domeline is a mixture of me and my partner Marlon, Marlon Woodard. So we were a rap group at Fair State University called Competitor and Modest, Competitor with a K. So we go by K&M. So that's how we started doing that, and then we realized we had fashion in common. So one day he was like, "Jay, man, we should come up. We like to dress and everything. We should come up with a clothing line." I said, "Oh, that's cool." He said, "But the name got to be dope." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." I said, I'm good with names. So ain't nothing. So I came up with Competitor and Modest in less than 5 seconds.
Exactly.
He was like, "Bro." So anyway, so I was like, "Give me a couple of days." A couple of days go by, and so what I did was it was a clothing line called Dada. So back in the day, Dada had like shirts and hats, and I always liked these stuff. So. So Dada, I took Dada, I made that Dama, and then Lean, my rap name at the time was Modest. So as I got a little older, I went from Modest to Modestine. So I just flipped that, made that Lean, and then it's Dama Lean.
You rapping now?
Right.
It was a whole bar just now.
Right.
It's just so natural.
That's
yeah.
just a
Right.
gift.
That's how it happened.
That's
so,
crazy.
Yeah, so Dama Lean was born. So right now, Dama Lean is it's 2025. So Dama Lean is like 29 years old right now. The name.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, but it started at Fair State. Yeah.
Tell us about rapping. I know I experienced it the other night. I think when people freestyle, that's a gift.
It is.
You
is
give
a
a
gift,
beat
yeah.
and you can just flow and hit bars like that. We were on live and we were playing.
We was playing.
Yeah, and they hit it. They did a
messing
beat
around.
and everybody
But we put the beat on.
And I was like,
Shout out to T-Max. T-Max put the beat on. He put the infamous Mobb Deep
and
Quiet
he
Storm beat
came
on.
hard.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, real.
Oh,
I
man,
didn't even know he
missed
had
that.
it in him.
Yes.
And then we had Star singing, and
Yes.
I couldn't get him nothing because I'm a lip sync. But I was like, wait a minute, now, let me get in here. But I was just like, let me just bounce to it. But they all was hitting it at all spontaneous.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
It
I
was
got
good stuff.
and shout out to Marlon. That's the reason why I'm able to freestyle now. So and back in when I was at Fairs, my boy Marlon, aka Marlon Milano, that's my guy. He was one of the kings of rapping on the campus. Him and another guy named Khalil. They was like Nas and Tupac, Biggie, like all in one. The both of them like
that
together.
Was it for me.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh snap! So I'm like, I'm in heaven. Thanks, Mom.
Right, exactly.
So they was in a little area like the convention area, and so we had a cipher. So
I love
Khalil and
ciphers.
Marlon going. I'm like, Oh, so I'm like a little I'm outside
Right,
looking
you're
in
like,
look in my head and let me see you.
in
They
there.
going at it. So Marlon go hard, Khalil go hard. I mean, they them top ones on the campus. I'm like, man, I gotta say something to him. So we about to go to eat because it's almost time to go to the cafe and eat cafeteria. So we go up there. So I had to walk up to him. We didn't know each other. I said, bro. I said, you got bars, bro. I said, I rap too. I said, I write though. I said, but I could tell you was over there freestyling too. You was mixing it. He was like, you serious? I'm like, yeah. He was like, all right, man. A little later, just come over to my room. I'm in Vandercook. And I stayed in Carlisle. So I was like, I'm walk over there. I said, all right, man, I'll go over there. So I went over there, knocked on the door. He let me in. He was like, what's going on? I was like, man, I'm a rapper, man. I rap. I got a whole bunch of bars. I wrote down. I said, I brought my whole, like, I brought a whole, I had, back then, how you had folders? I had folders of bars. Full songs and hooks. I just had to, I said, I went on
table. How you throw it on there? How you throw it on there?
I just need a beat. I just need a beat. Right. So he was like, he said, you have a freestyle? I said, what? He's like, go off the top.
That's hard to do.
I'm like, no. He said, that's what you're gonna need to learn first. I said, what? So I felt like Mr. Miyagi and Danielson, Karate Kid. It was Karate Kid for real, but the rap version. So back in the day, we had like the tape cases, right? Where everybody had tapes. So Marlon was a guru. He was like Obi-Wan Kenobi of rap. Like Star Wars, Obi-Wan knew everything. So he knew every coast. So when he opened up that 10 Commandments, he flipped over them. Every coast tape was in there. East Coast, West Coast, South. He said, pick 4 from different coasts. I'm like, what? I think I picked that Master P. It was hot at that time, that Wu-Tang from the East.
Wow.
I grabbed that UGK or something from the South too. And I grabbed something from the Midwest. He was like, I think I grabbed LL or something too. He was like, take them to your room. I said, what I'm gonna do with them? He said, put them in a tape deck and play them. I said, all right, I'm gonna play them. Then what? He said, rap over them. I said, rap over what you mean, the vocals? He said, rap over the vocals in the song and the beat as if they ain't even on there.
Wow.
I said, so black them out. He said, black them out. He said, come back in about 2 months. So I went in my room, put the tape deck in. I'm really easy. It don't matter what you say, just keep going. You'll get used to it. And after a while, they weren't even there no more.
They weren't there.
So I just blacked. So
That's
now,
awesome.
and then so that's when it started. That's when he said, he was like, man, if you learn how to freestyle, you'll never run out of ideas for songs. And he was right. And so I met KRS-One a little later down the line. And KRS-One, he did like an interview or something. He was talking about how like most of the time when because he was like the king of freestyling back in the day. KRS-One go off the top and kill you. So he was like, he said in the interview, he said, I'm 10 lines ahead of the last word I said. And that's when it hit me. Like, so you thinking 10 lines ahead from the last word you just said?
Wow.
I said, that's a whole nother level. It's like the Matrix. So I was like, let me just practice. And so once I got to that point, like, we rapped that night, I was like, bro, like, I'm like 20 lines ahead now. So I passed 10.
Yeah.
But it comes with the territory. But that's how I started, just with learning how to freestyle. And then I incorporate my freestyle, my raps. And so now it's endless. So I got about like 5K songs on a hard drive in the vault right now.
And y'all, I'm so big on rap, hip hop. That's me.
I like that
I
old
love
school
music,
stuff.
but I'm lyrics.
That's what I like.
Yeah, like I was telling
I do a
my
mixture.
friend
I do a
today,
mixture,
she
yeah.
loved Drake. I like Drake, but stop all that singing. They don't rap no more. He was just talking through the whole album. I need real bars.
Yeah.
I need real.
Yeah, if you come from real bars, that's all you would. Your brain be like, this ain't it.
Yeah, I can't do it. I was sitting there like, okay, Drake, all right, that's enough. It was fun when you did the first couple of songs and you tried to sing on it, but for real, give me real hip hop.
Yeah.
They don't have that no more.
Yeah, it's always, I always say things come back around.
Yeah.
They do.
So
Absolutely.
Kendrick, that Kendrick movement,
Yes, that was it.
Dolce movement,
Yes.
even me, John Greasy, like, it's all about the bars.
It
I take pride in every lyric I say. It's never about what I would call fillers.
Yeah.
Some people like to do fillers. They might have a catchy hook or they might have a catchy tune, but when it comes to the bars, they don't really like take that same time. Or they'll have a catchy beat, but what is it really? What you really getting from it? Versus if you come from that 90s and 80s era, every beat, every bar meant something.
It did.
It wasn't like
It
I'm just
did.
gonna put this out like that.
Absolutely.
They were
And they
living
stuck
that.
here. Just
Yeah,
like
to this day.
I was in Chicago and my daughter we were leaving the hotel and I always do this thing with the elevator. I don't know why.
Okay.
I play with the door of the elevator. I don't know why.
Okay.
It just
The button, you mean.
Yeah, and I want to see really it's a whole nother story. But she was like, get in here, you always do that. And I was like, I came in the door. I said it before. I came in the elevator, but I switched up and she was looking at me like, but that was real rap
That's
then.
real. We still stuck
it
with you
meant
too.
something.
That's
Yeah,
how you know.
Absolutely.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
So that's where it started, and then from there just working on my albums and everything. So to date, probably like I say, as far as solo albums, but me and my partner, we did some group albums, like 4 or 5, and then in 2008 is when I started going global music groups. So right now, I have about as far as solo albums, about 6 or 7, and the new one, The Infiltration, just came out about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But that was the beautiful part about it all, is that through the journey, being able to stay consistent, because a lot of cats fall
That's
off,
real.
and a lot of guys who I know, like Khalil, for instance, Khalil back, so he don't rap as much. So I just hit him up because his mother had passed a while back, and so I said, bro, man, I know you still got it in you, bro, because you live it, you love it. I said, whenever you're ready, if you want to do a feature or anything like that, man, you can always come through, bro. I got you. So he was like, man, I appreciate that. Giving them that fire back. Because some people lose it over, because when you get kids and stuff and you get married, you got to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, some rappers feel like they on the time clock when they had kids. And I remember this one guy, when I first started taking music serious and buying all my equipment, I used to be on Craigslist a lot. And so Craigslist was good for finding people who just had like equipment and stuff they wanted to either get rid of or they were trying to sell it. Found this guy on there, he was selling his keyboard, MIDI keyboard, what I still got to this day, and his 2 KRK speakers. So I reached out to him, he came over to the crib, and he told me, he said, man, you rap? I said, yeah. He said, you love it? I said, I love it. He said, me too, man. When I just had a kid, my baby mama, man, she like, man, you too old to be rapping. You got to get rid of this stuff.
Why do people put an age on something?
Hey, right. And so I looked at him. And so we had a cypher right there in my basement.
Did you?
He had that like Eminem flow. He could spit though. He was like, bro, this might be the last time I see this, and I just want to let you know, man, whatever you do with it, just keep going, don't stop. I said, I won't. And so that's how we, I paid him the money. I think he charged me like $250 for the keyboard and the speakers. I'm like, that was a steal. Because brand new, that mug cost like $700. Yeah, at the time, that keyboard cost $700. He was like, man, he trying to look out for the baby. I need Similac, I need diapers.
Right.
Just rapping, paying the bills.
Right.
So I told him, I said, man, no, whenever, I ain't gonna stop, bro. So, stuff like that, along the way. So me doing my projects, things of that nature, even my equipment, like, that equipment was donated to me, gifted to me. A brand new Mac, 2008 MacBook by Mr. Renner, RRP James Render. And I told him, I said, man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna use it. I ain't gonna just not use it, bro. I ain't gonna never collect dust like that. So over the years, I've been able to release dope projects and also do group projects too. Okay. So The Infiltration is the newest album, but Road to Redemption is my first album, Road to Redemption Part 1. And then I went into a little collective Brand Season 1, 2, Brand Season 3, and then Brand Season 4 is coming out this year too. But I just dropped The Infiltration because I just hooked up with a new production team over in London.
Okay.
LCG Beats and J Silver 007. They both in their 20s. And it's crazy how I was saying about connections. Like, that was Instagram.
It was?
Yeah. So I wasn't even, they ain't nothing I set up. They reached out to me on Instagram, was like, man, we like what you're doing. We like your flow, man. We got beats. And so they both sent me like 100 beats a piece. So I'm like, 100? I said, I got to cipher through these, but I did. So I still got some left, but I got the first project, Infiltration, with LCG Beats. I finished that, and then the next one, J Silver 007. That one is called Global Ties. And so I asked J Silver, I said, man, what's your favorite building over in London? He said the Tower Bridge. So I had my graphic artist, Harry, Enigma Graphics, he the truth. I said, bro, I need something with the Tower Bridge in it for Jay. He's like, all right, got you. So he sent back the artwork. It was crazy with the Tower Bridge with Global Ties and my name, his name. And so I sent it to him. He was like, bro, that's perfect. So we're going to do a collection of projects. So it'll probably be like, I finished part one for The Infiltration. So I'm going to do a 3-part series. Right. So I'm working on part 2 now. Same thing with Global Ties. So, and then I'm going to drop my 4th Brand Season 4 before those 2 come out. But yeah, so it'll be about 5-6 albums this year for me this year.
That's
awesome. That's awesome.
And the group album, Creative Space, that's my man, me and Jay Jones, who went to fairs too. So my mama, once again, the catalyst. She's like, she saw the future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm loving
What would you say to upcoming rap artists?
Number one, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. And I always say this, but number 1, be yourself. Okay. That's number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2, when you come up with your rap name, Google it first. Okay. John Greasy, I'm the only rapper John Greasy on the planet. And let me say why. Because Google is your friend. Nah, one of my favorite movies is Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. Okay. In that movie, he played an assassin named John Creasy with a C. So when that movie first came out, of my favorite movie, I said, I'm John Creasy now. I'm saying?
That's
So
where
I just
that
took it
came
like
from.
I'm Greasy. I'm with a
That's
C.
where it came
With a
from.
C.
That's where it came from.
So what happened was I said, let me type
I'm
in
not about to-
let me type in John Greasy and
And
see what
see
come
if
up.
that's up.
Man on Fire come up.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to compete with that later. I said, so I did a couple little CDs with John Greasy on there, and I was like, did my research. I started, that's when the business side kicked in. So I was like, let me just do my research. Every time you type it in, the movie Man on Fire came up. I said, I gotta switch it.
You was the man on fire.
He was. So I said, I'm gonna
No,
go
I
from.
said you were.
Yeah, right. I said, I'm gonna have to switch it to something. So G. So I was like, I just played with a lot of letters. I was like, Greasy, Creasy, and Greasy. So the G stood out. So I was like, all right, John Greasy. That's it. So I typed that in. It wasn't no other. It ain't no other rapper, John Greasy. So I said, that's it. So a lot of artists don't do that research and take that time out. So that how you got Lil Wayne, you got Lil Durk,
You got
Lil
Lil
Uzi,
Baby. You got
Lil Uzi Vert.
12,000, baby. You got a whole daycare.
So if you type in Lil, so you type in Lil, and you type in Lil, all
little baby. I love little baby. But you got all these baby. You do. You got
you have a
all
whole list of
You
littles
do.
before you get to do.
Yeah.
And truth be
Doodle
told,
bear.
like back in the day, I don't know how far back you, but back in the day, it used to be a cartoon called We Are the Littles, and that's where I first heard Lil. So when I seen that cartoon, it was like little rats, little mice or something, like a whole community of mice or whatever. And so I was like Littles. So when I heard Little, that's the first thing that came to my mind was the Littles. I'm like, nah, I can't be Little. 'Cause I'm thinking of the cartoon. But as far as just my name, I had to make sure to the artists out there, make sure your name is unique first. Because you want to stand out at some point. And that's what we talk about all the artists from the 80s and 90s. Every one of the artists, they all had their own names.
They did.
So you never got confused with LL, KRS-One,
And they had their own
Slick
style.
Rick, and they had their own style.
Yeah, everybody,
Their
nobody
own
sounded the
swag.
same.
Yeah. And nobody
everybody-
tried to.
They were
Oh.
being themselves.
They were being themselves. And so when you met them, you met them.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of artists now just don't realize like how important that is, originality. And that goes into a lot of artists now who are into the playlist and thing where they paying to be on playlists.
Yep.
And what distributors are doing now, like DistroKid, I go through DistroKid to distribute all my music around the world. And so what like Apple Music and all those guys, what they doing now, if you paying to get on playlists, they taking your music down from all the platforms. So it's equivalent to you instead of like having that access to the streaming platforms. Imagine having to sell your music out the trunk around the world.
Exactly.
You could
That did it. No,
Okay.
seriously,
No.
because I bought so many CDs out of the trunk. And so,
so if you really gonna be serious and do
Yeah.
it, you would have to go to each city and sell out the trunk.
yeah.
Instead of using that resource online, having that platform, not burning that bridge,
Absolutely.
so you can still put your music out and do it at a level of where you're not worried about it getting taken down because you're not trying to go around the system and pay promotions and stuff like that and trying to get ahead of the game instead of putting the work in. I would tell all artists, put the grind in first, learn as much as you can. Don't just be an artist. It's the music business. Do the business first, then be an artist. And I'm saying that for a reason because a lot of artists don't learn the business. They sign a contract and they hit for life.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing it, heard about it all the time. And so that contract, if you got enough money to go buy some Jordans, you got enough
was
money to
it.
go. You got enough
That
money to
was
go
it.
pay
And stand
a
in line.
lawyer
Yeah.
or two
The line,
to
the
read
line.
to read it
that
over
contract.
like a third grader. Read it over,
Absolutely.
highlight everything that's
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
and then if you don't believe that lawyer, then you still got enough money to hire another one to read it over and break it down to you again. So forget the Jordans. Go get a lawyer.
And as much as
pay
you
for
spent
them.
on Jordans, you got enough to go to law school at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
point.
yeah,
And become your own
Big
lawyer
facts,
and
big
represent
facts,
your own
and cigarettes
self.
too. E6,
Yeah,
all that.
no,
Like
for
if
real.
you break down your bread,
Represent
you
your
got
own
you got
self.
enough to make sure you on paper you good.
And then it seemed like Jordans make you stand stupid. I don't know if anybody.
Some people,
Yeah,
they do. Some people
be
do. They be like this.
Bye.
I don't want to stand like
Yeah,
that.
You want something like that?
No, if I'm paying that money, I want to stand the way I want to stand.
It force you. It force you.
I just thought they ain't want to bend them. That was
maybe
that
that's
was my.
what it
I
is.
think that's
Some
what
of them with
that-
the crease, but
you know what I
over
mean?
time it's gonna crease regardless.
Right,
But some people
but
still
they
have
do
that staying
that.
walk.
They
Be like
did.
this.
They do. Some of them do. They be
They
on
like,
top
I
of
can't
crease.
crease
But the crease gonna happen.
So you gonna walk stupid like you about to fall? I don't know.
Yeah. But I would tell our artists, be yourself. Do the business first. Do all your reading and research first, and that's what's missing with the music industry now with the kids now, and they signing these deals, and the label own everything you put out, even your tour money, even your merch and all that. Like, no, you don't want. That's like a 360 deal. Basically, the 360 deal is basically they get a piece of everything. So if they're giving you, let's say if they're giving you $1 million up front, that's really $750,000 because Sam taking his off the top.
Absolutely.
So and then that's a loan.
Yep.
That's not yours. And when you do drop your album, by the time you drop the album, you're already in debt because you still got out that $750,000. You still got to pay the producers. Now, and to put that in perspective, let's say if you was like, I want to be from Dr. Dre, and you got $750,000, right? This is how cold Dr. Dre is. But his A beats, like you got crate A, crate B, crate C. For a crate A beat, that means A1 ready to go out the gate, you got a hit. He started 500,000 for one beat.
Wow.
Your budget, you got 250,000 left. I'm just doing the math.
Right, do the math.
You still got to promote it.
Yep.
Right.
You still got to go to the studio. You still got to pay for that.
Yep.
Out that alone, you're in debt. So the only way you can get around that, artist, is don't just be an artist. Learn how to record yourself.
Yep.
Learn how to engineer.
Absolutely.
Learn how to make your own beats. And it's not hard because you know why? Because we have YouTube now. So if you go to YouTube right now, you type in how to make beats. It don't matter what keyboard you pull up, no matter what beat machine, it's somebody on there that will teach you how to use it. So you cannot say I can't anymore. YouTube made it to where you can't use the word can anymore.
Nope.
So it ain't no
Resources,
excuse.
right?
Yeah. So me personally, that's what I did. My first album, Road to Redemption, I put myself in Dr. Dre mode and I put myself in Quincy Jones mode. Quincy Jones was the guy I studied when early on because my Uncle Ted, one of my favorite uncles, shout out my Uncle Ted, his record collection was stupid. When I say stupid, it was cold-blooded. And the first albums that I picked up was Luther Vandross and Stevie Wonder's Hotter Than July with all the beads. I'm a credits guy. I wasn't who's responsible for this.
Right.
I see Stevie on the front, but I'm flipping it over. I want to read the credits.
Exactly.
The names I kept seeing on the back as executive producer on all those albums was Quincy Jones. Who is Quincy Jones? That's what's in my mind. I'm like, that's Stevie. But who? He's on all these records.
Man,
Stevie.
Brilliant.
So Quincy Jones' name is on all the back of these credits. He getting bread. And I'm young, and I know I'm in Mason
Why
Elementary.
they sliding on the stage.
They all slide, but Quincy back.
Exactly. With his legs
Play this,
crossed.
play that.
Yep.
I need you to do this, do this, do this. He ain't. You only. And that was back in the day when you didn't see like social media. Now it kind of crippled you because back in the day we didn't have social media. Only way you gonna see Quincy Jones. The first time I seen Quincy Jones was in the Wiz.
Wow.
I ain't seen no pictures, ain't no social media. There wasn't none of that. Only time you gonna see Quincy is if you were an artist and you were in the studio with him.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's how exclusive it was back then. So when I saw Quincy Jones, I didn't realize it was him in the Wiz. I saw the credits. I'm like, he was in the movie. I had to rewind it back, and the color was green. I said, "Oh, that's Quincy right there on the piano."
Right. That's when you sit back. Right. You sit back.
He looked right at the camera like,
He did.
And I didn't know he was. I still didn't know that was him until I was like, that was him.
That's crazy.
So that's what really stood out to me was the credits, and so that's when I realized like, so when I do my music, I get 100% of my music, and when I try to tell, I put that in perspective. I told the young artist, I said, look, it's a difference. If you was in the real estate right now, and you bought all 3 blocks, you had 3 blocks on your block, and you bought all 3 blocks. I mean, you own every house on all 3 blocks. So music is equivalent. So if I take one song and I own that song, that means I get 100%. The difference is if you're the landlord of that house, if the furnace go down, you got to go fix it. If something going with the roof, you got to go fix it. Anything going with the house and then somebody's in there, you got to go fix it.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the music and real estate. Music, once you record that song and you put it out, that song makes money forever and you ain't got to do no maintenance on it ever. So one song can change your life.
It would.
Whether you write it or produce it, one song can set you up for the rest of it. And we know a lot of one-hit wonders. Let's get it clear. One-hit wonders are still performing around the world and getting that bag.
Absolutely.
He said, "Get that bag."
So the whole 3 blocks is like having a catalog. So like Babyface, right? Babyface has a catalog of hits that he written and produced. He don't have to perform ever in his life.
Never.
He does it because he just wants to get out and do it.
Absolutely.
But to put it in perspective, like when COVID happened, a lot of rappers and singers who didn't own their music, didn't write it, didn't produce it, they lost most of their material values that they had. Their house, car note going by, mortgage. Now y'all can't pay because y'all living off show money.
There you go.
Not ownership of the song. So people like Babyface, when COVID came, he was sitting back like,
Yeah, he was laying in his good bed.
Those royalties,
With his legs crossed.
like-
For real. Still looking like he got a
he's
baby
still-
face.
Nothing changed,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So
He ain't stressed about nothing.
put in
Right.
perspective, those royalties come in quarterly. So that's every 3 months. So Babyface was still probably clearing about between 2 and 3 million
That's
just
deep.
in publishing,
That's deep.
and his royalties in publishing. That had nothing to do with him going on
Absolutely.
stage. So he didn't have to leave the house. The bill's still gonna be paid regardless. And that's what you want to do. Like me, I own all my music. I write. I own 100% of my publishing, 100% of my royalties, my sing license,
Oh,
and
so
sing
you
license.
laying in your bed with your legs
I make
crossed
money in
too.
my sleep.
And that's on.
Work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
So there are only a couple entities or things you can do in a lifetime or in life where you don't have to physically be there. So that's music and that's clothes. And when you get to music, when you really get your bags and when you got to do shows. So let's say somebody call you up and say, man, we got $50K for you to do a show over here. Or we got another $50K if you do a show over here. And you like, This 100% ownership what I own. They paying me the $50K. Only really overhead I got is the ticket to fly there. Fly there, they might say, we could take it, ticket might take it where you staying at. Whatever, we need you to come down. We just we paying you. But when you own your situation, that's all you. That ain't being sliced up no type of way or cut up nothing. And that's the thing. That's the gem. And each song pretty much has 10 strings of income from one song. Wow. So it ain't like, you gotta.
Let me get out here and be like,
like real
Give me a beat.
I'm telling you what I know. I'm living it. I'm telling you what I know.
Right, exactly. I'm about to rap, sing something.
It's a lot of artists like that, you know what I'm saying, who came out just like that,
Just like that.
And it's not like it's rocket science. It's more so it's just having, like, back to what I was saying about being original, being yourself. And that's what's missing right now. A lot of artists are trying to just do this and do that. But if you stick to business, you stand on business, and you do your thing, and you put the work in, you're going to meet the right people, and you're going to get around the right people to where, you can make a living and sit back and say, you know what, man, it started in the basement, or just started. But the journey is really the money. Because when you got a journey, your song's right there.
There it is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they hit. Like when people talk about me, like, Jay, man, your stuff be hitting. I said, because I'm talking about what I'm really living. That's why it's hitting.
And somebody else living.
Yeah, I lived them eras. So
Absolutely.
everybody be talking about, like the older music, like how everybody trying to sample the old hits. I'm like, but I lived that era.
Exactly. That's why.
So when I say it, it's different. It feels
good
different
to
because I
you.
lived it, bro. Y'all trying to catch it.
Yeah.
Like that era past y'all. So y'all trying to reach back. I'm like, bro, we lived that already. It's, you can't grab the DeLorean and go back to the future. This ain't that ain't gonna help you, bro.
That's serious.
Even if you did, it still wouldn't. That ain't it.
Right,
That ain't the vibe. So that's all it really is. The artists now, I want to see them be more on the business side, and I want them to see them more on the hands-on side, but learning how to make their own music and writing their own songs and learning the craft.
Right.
Learn
Learn the craft, not just being focused on trying to make a hit. Learn the craft first, and the hits will come. And so many artists like Nas. Like Nas, when he first came out, he was 17 with a classic album, Illmatic. And he was just one of them guys who was just talking about what he see out of the window. But he was better at it than the grown folks. So that Illmatic, he got 5 mics on his first release. He got 5 mics, but he was that cold. So everybody started talking about how Nas doesn't have as many Grammys as other artists. I said, but Nas' catalog though. If you really listen to everything he said, right? So when he did get the Grammy, he finally got a Grammy. I think a couple years ago with the King's Disease Part 1 with a producer. What is his name? It's gonna come to me. But he was the reason why Nas actually went to like another lane as far as production. And Hit Boy. So him and Hit Boy got together, and Hit Boy got Nas his first Grammy all these years later. But we all knew Nas should have been got a Grammy. But it was his connection. It was his story. That's what we really cared about. We didn't care about the Grammy. You know what I'm saying? But when he got it, it was well deserved. But his catalog of music, to this day, it still stands the test of time. He still performs that first album every time he do a show. He still got those songs. Even though he got all the new songs, he still performs that first album. And that's what you want, that foundation. So a lot of artists now they skip the foundation and try to be a star. Yeah. You want to get that foundation type first. Then worry about the other stuff. Let the fans handle that, because the fans dictate who's a star or not. Absolutely. It ain't the artist. And that's the thing about a lot of cats don't understand. Like, it's not the record. It's not the radio station don't predict who the hit is. The radio stations play what's in rotation, what their manager tells them to play. Absolutely. That's what's in rotation. And I learned that a while ago. It ain't. And my first major radio placement wasn't even in the States. It was in Canada. And back to what I was saying about ownership is that it was a song on my first album, Road to Redemption, called Club Going Crazy. And so I made sure I sent my copyrights to Washington, D.C. first. I did that first. All my lyrics and all my music, I sent that to D.C. first. And then I went, ASCAP is my PRO, Performing Rights Organization. You got ASCAP, you got BMI. I go through ASCAP because ASCAP is for artists. It was made from artists, by artists. BMI is more corporate, so it really just about the money. ASCAP is more like, it's for us. We're a family. And the ASCAP is very is artist friendly. Okay. And so and I did register that whole album with them. And so what happened was a radio station in Canada, a major station, played that song on the radio. And I didn't submit it to them. I didn't pay them to play it, none of that. So when that royalty check came in, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't pay no radio station to play my song. But on the business side, that's why you got to register your music, because once you register it, if somebody does play it, and it's on a legit station, they gonna fill out the paperwork. Okay, this song's called Club Going Crazy by John Greasy. They gonna look it up. Okay, you ASCAP. So when they send it in, each song you register, it has like a social security number with it. Okay. So that's how you know who to pay. Gotcha. So when they put it in, when they sent it to ASCAP sent me my check, and I'm looking like, but if I wouldn't have registered, I never would have got that.
Wouldn't have got it.
Wow.
So that's the power of registering every song you put out first. Do the business first, because then you ain't got to do it on the back end. And when you perform your music live and it's your music,
Right.
you get royalties for performing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get in the bag, plus you get another bag performing from your performing rights organization. So if you do it right, shoot, you can do a couple shows. Like when I go over to London, when I have to go over and it's time to go over there and all that, I ain't tripping over that. I'm like,
Are you
bro,
right?
everything I'm doing, I own it.
Right, exactly.
So whether it be the clothes, whether it be the music, you're going to get both anyway, because when I get on stage, I'm wearing Don Maline anyway.
Dominant.
So it don't matter, at the end of the day. So, you're going to get it regardless.
Absolutely.
You know what I
get
mean?
both.
And that's the key to it. Like, own your situation, and do the research, get your LLCs when it's time. And in Michigan, it's the cheapest. It's only $50. Get your LLC. It's no excuse. It's no $50.
Yeah.
They go back to them Jordans
I hear
again.
A lot of people. There you go. They
With that price of Jordans,
like
you get
this.
your LLC.
Exactly. And you
You
stand.
get you a lawyer, a couple lawyers for that $200, whatever you about to pay.
Slides when you get your LLC. You do it at home and apply. For real, you ain't got to pay all that. Yep.
The Nike slides.
Nike slide, that
I hear
tracksuit.
people all the time. They be like, "I don't have my LLC. I don't know." And then
Oh,
this one guy, he
girl.
like, "But she helped me get my LLC." It's real bad.
Real talk.
I swear.
Real
Yes.
talk. And
It's simple.
I want the artists to know, especially the new artists, because y'all have way more resources now. There is no excuse.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all making money from doing streaming live. Y'all making so much
Anything.
money.
It could be a TikTok trend.
Yeah,
It's
like
no-
take some of that and invest in your. So if you are gonna start your own podcast, okay, that makes sense. Like take the money and do something with it.
something
You know what I'm
with
saying? And build an entity or build something you can pass down to your kids.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing I like about music too, is like that stream of money never stops. So if something happened to me and my sister, what up, sis? She's my beneficiary.
Okay.
So if something happened to me, them checks go to her.
Absolutely.
And if something she want to pass, she can pass. But it never stops. That's the thing, and that's why I know a lot of people who are still eating off their father or mother was an artist, still getting them checks to this day, and they don't have to work.
Nope.
They're eating. They're when they get that check every 3 months, it takes care of the next 3 months, and that's how they're able to live. And if they decide to do something outside that, they can.
they
But
be
they
like
got that
Quincy
that stream of income. That income is coming in regardless.
Yep. Absolutely.
So just
When you
artists
do
focus.
it right.
Yeah, just focus on the business. Focus on building a catalog. Don't focus on making hits. Focus on the catalog, and then everything else fall in place.
That's good stuff. So wherever you want to get in the music industry, he dropped some gems tonight.
Hey,
Real
get on
bad.
it. Get on your job.
Get
I'm telling y'all, I'm living it. I'm telling you can tell what
So
I'm talking
do you
about.
produce?
Right.
Yes, I produce
okay,
too.
you produce
I produce.
too.
So the Road to Redemption 1, and Brand Seasons 1, 2, 3, 4.
So if
1,
someone
3.
looking
I
for
produce. Oh, go
producer,
ahead.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, someone looking for a producer.
Yeah, if they're
or
looking, I
okay.
can. Yeah, because I produced those in album creators, a rap group called Creative Space. Shot my boy Jones. I made a fair state. We've been rapping. We've been cool forever, but this is our first project we did because he rapped in college and I did too, but we never got together. They had their own group.
Okay.
So all these years later, we got together. We just did a group album called Creative Space. We formed our own group. Got the LLC for it.
Okay.
Took care of the business first.
Okay.
I walked him through that. I said, Jones, we ain't going to be rapping out here, bro. We a little older now. I said, we're going to do the business first. Got the LLC first. Then went to the bank, opened up the account. Then once all the songs were done, registered all those with ASCAP. Got that done, took care of the business first. And then once we got the business done, then we focused on releasing the album, which we did. It's on all the platforms right now. It's called self-titled, called Creative Space. I produced all the tracks on there, recorded them all, engineered everything. And the only producer on there outside of me is DJ Cage, Beast, from, and I met him at Fair State. Shout out Mom again. And so Cage
Mama,
produced.
you knew what
Cage,
you was doing.
Mama.
Cage produced the lead single on Creative Space album. It's called Outlandish.
Okay.
And we shot the video at Little Caesars Arena.
Good stuff.
Down there, downtown. And that was a blessing too. So they let us use the whole outskirts of the whole thing. Like you got like the different parts. So they got Red Wings, they got all that, the murals on the side, all that Aretha, Eminem, all
That
that.
was dope.
So we was able to use the whole thing. So we made it like a movie type thing. So if y'all get a
That
chance,
was
check out the
nice.
video. Creative Space, Outlandish. We shot we shot that in Detroit, and then we shot the next. That's the first single, Outlandish. The second single I produced is called Clock's Not Ticking. We shot that at the Quinta Cut.
Okay.
That was dope. And then we did a tribute song called Grit Mode to the Detroit Lions. We shot that at Grand Circus Park. So that came out crazy. So
awesome.
my boy George, who I went to elementary with, Law Elementary on the east side, he is a super fan of the Lions. He is the Predator. He wear the Predator mask.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I got him in the video.
Get rid of them.
So I got him in the video, and so he was there. So people was like, how y'all get the super fan?
Right, exactly. Yep. They sold
I'm like,
out
that's
so
my boy.
fast.
You know what I'm saying?
How you
We went to
say
elementary
boy,
together.
right.
That's my best friend. So they like, you know this? So it was crazy because in the video, we shot the video, and one of the dancers in the video was like, oh, that's the. So he's like, man, can I meet him? I said, George, you want to meet you? So he was like, he's like autographed there. That was crazy. But just to have that, those type of situations and meet people like that. But yeah, but production is something that a lot of artists need to just, they don't think about it first. But trust me, it's you get more time to sit with your songs and more. They don't feel rushed in the studio because that's what happens. A lot of artists get in the studio and they look at the clock because they didn't pay for studio time, and they rush them bars, and when you don't think about it until you hear it back. When you hear it back, you be like, I gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Because if you got that on your brain, 9 times out of 10, your recordings will not come out like you want them to, and I learned that. 2 ways. I learned that from doing sessions with other engineers and going there and paying studio time and watching. Some of them come late. Some of them don't have the same energy as they will. Like say if another artist come in who more popping, they not putting the same mix on our stuff, on my stuff as they doing there. I said, I gotta learn the craft now. That's when it really made me. I looked at the whole. I said, if I'm paying my money, number one, I want quality. That's number one.
Absolutely.
I want professionalism.
Right.
I want all that necessity I'm paying for because I put the time in, I put the work in, and I'm working a job to pay for this. So I'm not wasting my money. I'm trying to maximize. So when I saw people slipping on that side, that's when I realized. I said, me and my boy Marlon, we decided to get our own studio. And we ended up getting a studio out in Redford, right there off Grand River 7 Mile. It's a spot out there called the Lofts, and that's where all the musicians go.
I did a music video in there.
Yeah. So everybody got a studio in there.
Yeah.
So we was in there from like that was like 2000, 2002, 2003 to like 2008, 2007. Yeah. So we just paid rent up in there and just had a friend of ours, CPR, shout out CPR. His father owned a lumber company, so we bought the space. It was just a space, wasn't in there but a room. Wow. And CPR got all the lumber and everything, built the booth in there for us and everything, built all the stands to put our equipment on. Man, he was a blessing in disguise, and that's how we started our own studio like that, and got our own equipment and everything, and that's when it really hit us like we can do this on our own. And that's when the game started changing to being independent. And so a lot of artists now, you don't have to go to the studio to get that quality sound on. You can be in your bedroom and get it now. So you don't have no. Yeah, it's a lot of bedrooms.
Everything
hey,
go down
I'm telling
in the bedroom.
real talk.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it's his songs being made, and I made a few, you know what I'm saying, in the bedroom, and I made a few in the basement, you know what I'm saying, but it's really just the acoustics. So if you're in a house that's made by brick, you good. That's brick. If it's drywall, you ain't good. The echo gonna be like the bathroom. So you're gonna have basically a shower, right? You're gonna have a built-in echo on your music. And so now you gotta buy paneling. You got to buy paneling put on the walls so you can suck up all the air, couches, all that stuff. So it sounds like it's no echo in the room, and so that requires more money. But that's when you start really getting into the technical side of recording music, and a lot of artists don't think about that. And that's and I wish they did, but they don't. We're not built like that. Like I just want to come here and rap. I don't care about none of. I thought Tupac was. Yeah, Tupac coming through. Cut the mic on.
Yeah, just want to rap.
All right, man. Play it back one time.
Right.
All right, that's it. Go on next song. All right, play it back. All right, next song. So Tupac work ethic was crazy, but he maximized his time. He didn't care about how the kicks sound, how the snare sound, how the cymbal sound. As long as I'm coming through, I'm good. And then get the albums done because he knew time was short. And a lot of artists, we get into that sometimes, like when we got to pay for studio time, we thinking about time. But when you're able to record your music and do it on your own terms, and you're not rushing, that's when you get the best, make the best music. Because now you got time to really sit there, and it's crazy how like people record now. Like me, I used to record my verses straight through all the time. Okay. But then my boy Shamrock, shout out Shamrock. Shamrock was the first producer and artist. When I went, I would pay him to go do studio sessions because there's times when as an artist I don't want to record myself. I want somebody else to do it. Just because I want to just focus on. I don't want to focus on pushing buttons today. So I would go to him and he would do my sessions for me. And one day he was like, Jay, man, you don't have to just rap it straight through like that. I'm like I've been doing this. I'm spit the whole thing.
Right, exactly.
He was like, no, man, break it up. Like I could tell like certain stuff you want to say in your breath control. He said, you got that. But if you break up the verses and you record them in sections, then you can hit it how you want to hit it. And I was like, all right, man, let's try it. So if I'm like the showstopper, the dope propper, the streets watcher, my campaign's a full swing like the late Hoffa. So I can stop there, Hoffa. All right, punch me back in.
Right.
Late high for streets more than me. Clearly hate. There's no scam. I'm authentic like the Burt Reynolds Trans Am. Walk this way like Aerosmith flew with a Dunkin' Donut. I'm hotter than a semi and I ran for the track phones.
He know that's fire. That's what you.
No, I'm just saying that's how it started happening. Like so now my recording process is like this now. I don't just try to go through like that. I could do it, but it's like I see what he was saying. I'm like, yeah, if I just do like 4 bars at a time, I could really focus on how I wanted you to feel it when I say it.
Exactly.
Versus like it's like being in church. Like you got some preachers who just talk right at you, and you got some preachers who pause and be like. And so you got time to think about it. So you let it marinate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They let you feel it first. And then they go back in like, God is good.
Yeah.
And you feel like, yeah, he is good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it be sometimes. Sometimes you gotta let it marinate. You can't just rush it all the time. You gotta let it just let it sit for a minute. Then you listen, you let it play back, and then you just punch in from where you stop. And so punching in is a lot of artists like Dr. Dre. He punch in a lot. And he got Snoop punching in a lot because you can really say it how you feel it and get the most out of it instead of trying to say it all the way through and you lose your breath sometimes and you can hear it in the recording. You be like, oh man, I lost my breath right there. We got to do that part over. But if you just do it in sections, you can hit it every time. It's a little longer process, but you get it right. Yeah. And then by the time you finish that verse, it sound how you want it to sound. So artists, take your time with them bars, man, because the real seasoned ears can hear it. Just like some people don't like mastering their songs. Pay to get your songs mastered, same way you need to pay to get a lawyer. Look, let me tell you. And if you don't mix, that's one thing I'm glad I took the time to learn is mixing my music. I mix all my own music. I don't have to pay. Mixing, that's a budget that you got to have a separate budget for. Okay. You can rap, that's fine. Like Beyonce can sing and all that. But she rap. But Beyonce ain't about to sit there and mix her whole that song. And the engineers who work with Beyonce, when you put that Pro Tool session up, the session of that song, I think most of her sessions are 300 to 400 tracks per session. That's individual.
That's deep.
That's music and vocals and harmonies. You know the harmonies she's doing? She's stacking them harmonies like 8 tracks, 16, 24, 32, almost 50 to 100 tracks of just harmony, background vocals. So a mixing engineer, he got to have an ear to pan all that. And so when we hear it as fans, we hear the whole song. Yeah, but it's somebody who had to put all that in there and tweak it and EQ it and compress it to make sure everything was where it's supposed to be. So when you hear it, you hear how it's supposed to be heard. Yeah. Versus just saying, I'm gonna just drop it raw. It ain't gonna sell.
Oh. You know, Jay-Z said he knew she could rap because how fast she.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, how fast she.
She had the gap.
Yeah. When she sing.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not rapping, but then when she did it, it was like
it was fire. Like and she came through like. But like I say, some people had that insight where they can see it. And they can say, look, you can spit them bars if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to. But that's the thing. A lot of artists don't put that in consideration when it comes to mixing their music. And if you don't mix your music, pay somebody to mix it. And pay somebody to master it. Because what happens is when you put your song, if you in the club right now and you put Jay-Z on, dun, 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 can I get an encore? And then you put yourself on, can I get an encore? Do you? Hey man, what happened? You ain't get that mixed and mastered? No. Oh man, we can't play that. Hey man, keep that Jay-Z going, man.
That's true.
It ain't personal. It's just if your song, you got to think about it. If your song play behind any major artist, and don't get me wrong, you got different level of producers, a different level of mixing engineers. You got the high level mixing engineers, and I'm just throwing out names. Tony Maserati. Tony Maserati did all Biggie stuff, all the early Biggie stuff, all the early Mary J. Blige stuff. You got Chris Lord Alge, who was a rock engineer. He did like every rock band you could think of. He didn't mix their albums. And then you got people like Eddie Kramer. Eddie Kramer did all the Jimi Hendrix stuff. So when you hear those mixing engineers, and I've studied this, I'm one of them. I'm one of them like. I will sit there and dissect everything because that's what you need in order to be successful in it. Like, no matter what shoes you sit in, if you're a rapper or you're an artist, study artistry. Study being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Study that and get the most of it. Because if you don't, you're going to come up short because you didn't put the work and the time in to maximize it because everybody else who has the budget or the money to pay for a big engineer or a big studio or they just got a bigger budget, they might have a bigger sound, but you're going to get more out of it because if you learn it, you're able to save money and put that toward whatever else you're going to do with it moving forward, promotion, stuff like that. But you don't want to be spending all your money on everything because you're going to be broke before you even come out. That's a fact.
Well, we do have questions of topics.
Yes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're gonna bring you back for a part 2.
All right, right.
No,
For
we
sure.
do it. So
Got
I have
to.
some here, but I do have one now since we went through all of this.
All right.
In the industry and the field you're in, your career, how do you incorporate dating or in a relationship? Because they have to be able to understand that lifestyle. That lifestyle is a whole different realm
That's a fact.
to understand if you're not in it.
That's a fact. And then
You're in the studio for 30 hours. Why how
yeah,
do you
So what I
incorporate?
did when because I was married before, so I was married 8 years, and so before I met my ex-wife, I've been doing music since, like I said, since the '90s. And we met. She knew I was doing the music and everything. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when I would do shows, stuff like that, take her with me. All that stuff. So and then when it comes to the studio, me and Marlon was out in Redford. I would try to keep it around like 2 to 3 hours at the most. Sometimes it go past that just because it might be working on a project.
considering the
But I would tell her that. You know what I'm saying? So. And then when the industry changed and everybody was doing recording at home, I just set up at the house. So
Right.
now I'm at the house.
Right.
So I'm there. So I ain't even. So that's how I as far as time, because in any relationship, marriage or dating, it's about time, and I'm a stickler when it comes to time. So I make time, and that's one thing about when you're independent, you can make time. When you sign to a label, you can't make time because you want somebody else clock and somebody else time and somebody else gave you some money. So when you're independent, though, you can make time. Any independent artist saying they can't make time, they're lying.
Okay.
Because when you're independent, you set that line of time. You set when and you gonna record. So if I tell look, babe, I'm about to record, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'll probably be in there maybe like 2 or 3 hours. Then we can go do woo. And so she'll be like, all right, cool. If you need something to drink, let me know.
Right. Whatever it is. Right. Exactly.
Because I'm gonna prioritize my time around her anyway. So if I know I got, like I said, if I got 5,000 songs in the vault, I really don't need to be recording anyway. And when I record, it's just really to get thoughts that I got off my head. So like when you freestyle a lot, you get ideas all the time. So you got 2 options. You can go on your phone and write it down, or you can go to the microphone and just cut the mic on and just rap and get it out. And then cut it off, shut it down, and then go about your day. So that's what I would do. I would just go down there and just freestyle or just ideas I had or beats I had, just play them. And I would just freestyle and just get off the thoughts and then leave and say, okay, whatever. So I would think that, as far as prioritizing time with your significant other, that's something that you have complete control of as an independent artist. Okay. So there is no excuse. So if she says she want to do X, Y, Z, and you got to record something or whatever, you got 2 options. You can either get up early and go in the basement and get it out the way. Because this thing too, like a lot of people, with headphones, I don't have to cut the speakers on, so I'm not going to wake you up.
Right.
I'm not going to wake the kids up, whatever the case may be. Nobody in the house going to get woke up. Because I can just put the headphones on, turn the mic on, and just spit what I'm going to spit just like this. Get it all out. So by the time you wake up and it's about time to go, I'm already dressed, ready to go. Matter of fact, I'm outside. I'm outside the car.
Okay. All right. That's it.
I already spit my bars, everything, got out the way. But that's, like I say, prioritizing that isn't hard. That's a choice you got to make. But if you love her like that and you ride or die with her like that, you're going to put her first anyway. So, and she's going to benefit off of it anyway.
Real bad.
So like,
real bad.
it's a win-win.
You already gave us the game.
Yeah, it's a win-win. Like, you good regardless. Like,
Right.
So she get to when you're independent, you can fly your girl out. You can tell her, come on, make something. I got you. You ain't gotta worry about the label saying you can't have no girls.
You gotta go through
You
TSA.
can't have your wife around the business.
Right.
Like, bro, who you
exactly.
talking
it
to?
used
I'm a grown man. Yeah,
Right.
man. She coming, bro. What you talking about? So that's what I would say about that. You gonna make time. You really, you make time for it.
You make
People
time
gotta
for-
understand.
Yeah. And everybody wants time.
What you want to?
They do.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody
does it. So, take the time out. If that's the one you really want, man, you don't make no excuses for. Whatever she need, whatever she's trying to do, just do it. And I like that from my dad. Shout out, Dad.
Just shout out to Dad.
Shout out, Dad. You know
Don't
what
leave
I'm
out
saying?
Dad.
Yeah, don't leave out Dad.
Wow.
Dad. Yeah.
How much time we got now? 5 minutes. You want one? You got a question?
Is
Go
there
ahead.
anyone in particular that you would like to work with?
My dream collaboration I did on my first album. That's Big Herc. Shout out Big Herc. That's the city's. That's the city's champ.
Yeah.
Hands down. And Big Herc has worked with everybody, and that's my guy. So
That's good
I reached out
stuff.
to him on my first album, Road to Redemption. It's a song, and it's on the platforms. It's called Hold You Up. So it's basically like a slang. And back in the day, we was like, man, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. You need to get down there. You know what I'm saying? You need to be there. So I sent him the beat. He was like, man, the beat dope. I told him, I said, Herc, if you don't feel it, let me know. You ain't hurt my feelings. I'll make another beat. It's cool.
Right.
He's like, no, I feel it. I was like, bet. I said, how much the verse gonna cost? He's like, 500. I said, 500? Got you. So he come over, he bring his wife. Shout out Herc, his wife. They come to the crib, come to the basement. Hurt led his verse. He messed up a couple times. Look, a couple times, Hurt a couple times. I said, it's all right. It's all right. Cause I'm engineering now, so it's like, we ain't watching Hurt.
Right.
We ain't gonna take it. He knock it out. I play it back. I listen. Good. Pay on the bread. And I was still promoting my Don Molina at the same time. So he was like, man, that's your clone now, right? Okay. I said, yeah. Yeah. I said, yeah.
That's what you do.
I said, you want? He said, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind rocking a couple shirts. Oh, I bet. So in the basement, he took a couple pictures with the shirt, and then we doubled back. So we finished the song and everything. So come to the video. It's time to shoot the video now. We shot the video on Belle Isle, on the Belle Isle Bridge. Shot the video. So Hurt, I ain't trying to, it's real talk. You know it's real talk. At the time, Hurt didn't have his license. So I picked him up in the caddy. I had to pick him up in the caddy, and I had my caddy at the time. Pick him up in the caddy, come out, and so we get in the car. So we drive to Belle Isle to the and that was back when the big boys was across the street from the Belle Isle. It's closed now. The big boys restaurant.
Yeah.
It's closed now. So that's where we parked at. Wait, it's gone.
Right.
That's where we parked at to wait on my camera crew to come film the video. So it just so happened that one of my boys from early on, my boy Saleen Humphreys, we played ball together, football and basketball. He was a big Hurt fan. So when I first did the song, I told Sal, I said, Sal, man, I need to get on this song with me. He like, what song? I said, I got something I need you to get on. Jump on it. He thought, all right. Stepped on the song. He split his verse and everything. So he didn't know that Hurt was going to be on the song. So he didn't hear it till after the song was done. And I said, we shooting the video too, Sal. He like, shooting the video? Stop playing with me, Jay. I said, no, we're shooting the video. I said, I want you to come to the video shoot. So we waiting on Sal to come. He ain't never met Hurt, but he is Hurt's biggest fan. So he pull up. So me and Hurt get out. He looking at Hurt, he looking at me. I was like, Hurt, it's my man Sal. He shake his hand. He like, bro, I'm your biggest fan, bro. He was like starstruck. So I'm sitting back, I'm watching him like, this is crazy. Like they even had that moment to happen. So we knock out the video and everything. And so, he was just, to this day, like, man, good looking, bro, how you did that for me. I wasn't even thinking like that. So Hurt was like my number one feature for the city. That was it. That's my stamp. And I've done shows and been in the same buildings as when Eminem went with Slim Shady. It was back in the day. He was at East Point rapping with D12. So Proof, all them. I know I've been doing shows with them for a minute. Miss Corona, who played Vanessa in 8 Mile. We all was in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? So I met a lot of them early on in their career, but my dream collaboration would be with Outkast. I met Big Boy Andre at Fair State, and it was crazy because me and Marlon, my boy Marlon, we had a CD called Detropolis 2000. We was able to get the CDs to Andre and Big Boy, and one of the bars when I talked about this guy named Jose Canseco from the Oakland A's. And so late that AT Aliens album came out later, 96, something like that. And Big Boy used that line. I'm like, he listened to it. He switched it up, but he used but I knew. I said, yes, what's up? So they let us on the tour bus and everything. It was cool. They rocked out. And so so that was my dream collaboration. We Outkast, both of them together.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I love Outkast.
Good stuff.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, they're my guys right there. They don't know it, but they my guys.
They know it now.
Yeah,
they know it now.
Big facts. That's my dream collaboration. Outkast.
Really? Good for
That's
you.
awesome.
That's awesome. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got them. I'm on the head.
We enjoyed you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed y'all.
Because engineer keep doing.
Yeah, it's okay. and I know we about to close, but I did bring gifts for y'all.
You did.
Okay.
So I brought the Infiltration album, I signed it. I brought the Creative Space album, I signed it. And I brought Brand Season 2, I signed it. And I brought y'all some of the Don Molina gear and let y'all pick what y'all want.
It's Christmas.
And, yeah. I had to do it right, just for everybody else who might come. You got some big shoes to fill now.
Okay. Yes, y'all do.
Whoever come on
And my mama had the number one black owned facial tissue. It was called Lovejoy facial tissue, and I brought y'all some samples today.
Get out of
What
here.
you say?
I know you lying. This was
Showing
Don't
out.
play with me.
he just came in and showed
Don't
out.
play
So
with me.
whoever the next guest that's coming on,
You got
better
problems.
have it together.
Way together.
Can we open it now, or we gotta wait?
No, you open now. I can do it now. You ready?
Where is it? Yeah, because our engineer, he's like, he said 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Yeah, no, I don't know how many seconds we got, but we want to see. Excited.
20 seconds
Came
or
in with
so.
the bag. No, I don't know how many seconds. I don't
Probably
know.
2 minutes. 1 second.
And I need, look, when Dina got a car, I said, you got some Kleenex.
Yep, there you go, right there.
She always asks me for
It's the
some.
best. You got to tell
Got
people,
scriptures on it too.
get out of here. I love this. Now I'm not going to want to open it, y'all. What's the
We got Dina right
website?
here. Dina got
Dina-
infiltration.
Ooh,
She got the info.
ooh.
She got
What
creative
she
space.
got? Okay.
And she got the brand
and you
season 2.
signed it.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying,
Thank
Padina.
you. That's
Take
Padina.
that piece and
Thank you.
I'm like, what you
We got to
say?
interview him now because when he get with Outkast,
It's over.
yeah, it might be. It's up from there.
All right, we got that's Lanice right
That's,
there.
thank
That's
you.
Lanice.
We got
The fact that it's signed
we
is
got that. Boom, boom, boom.
That's
Got
awesome.
some
Thank
stickers
you.
for 'em.
Look at
okay.
everything.
And then what size t-shirts y'all wear?
Small for me,
Small
but
for-
it's okay.
Okay, no, but it's a silk picture.
Oh yeah,
this-
I
this-
make
this
it fit
is
me.
that
I'm
new
a
right here.
seamstress, so
Yeah, this that new right here.
Ooh, we got the new.
We got
the new
one.
That we not wearing. That we not wearing with Jordan.
No, yeah, right. we got the no.
Got the new
This is feeling on your skin.
Ooh,
It's the feel good.
It's the
Yes.
breathable material.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. Because I be
much.
having hot flashes.
Yeah.
That'll work.
That is-
Okay.
Right through it. You gotta go right through it.
like this.
Blowing
And I
got me together.
I got a small and white for that, so I get you that small.
I'm
Okay,
loving
you know what
this.
I'm
We
saying?
appreciate you. All these goodies.
Awesome.
I'm loving these tissues though. This
Yeah,
is
mama,
everything.
I was trying to get my daughter to make you some cakes, and she was busy. We get you next time.
we
Daughter,
got you.
no.
I was like, what? She's like, I got all these orders next time.
It's
I was
okay.
like,
Next time. That's all right.
Next time.
I
You
ain't
gotta
mad at you. I
come
know how
back.
it be when you
Yes.
backed up. Yeah.
We thank you. You
Thank
dropped
you
some
so much,
gems. We
yes.
appreciate you.
I appreciate
so
y'all.
Yes.
And the
I'm
engineer.
grateful.
And the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that grind. See,
Yeah.
I can speak for
I might
that.
share
I'm pushing
some
all the
I might
buttons.
share
I know
some
about
tissue
that
with
life.
I share some tissue with them.
Yeah. I bring them some. I bring them some.
Thank
That's
you
what's
so
up.
much. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Appreciate
it.
y'all for
Yes.
sure, man. All love.
That's good. It was nothing but God.
www.domaline.com.
Oh, yeah, give all your handles.
JohnGreasy.com,
Right.
at John Greasy.
I'm so sorry. I got excited
That's
about
all
the
right.
gifts.
There you go, right there. There's only
Yeah,
one John
they all
Greasy.
in
Google
there.
it. John Greasy Rapper's gonna pop up.
Absolutely. Do it.
All love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.